Alright, what is going on, my dudes? We're back here today with the newest champion entering MCOC. We have Chee'Ilth. Now, this is a very cool champion with a bunch of interesting things going on, and more importantly, some of the best animations in the entire game. So, we're gonna jump right into her today. So, you're gonna notice here that she is unduped, this 7-star. The majority of this video is going to be unduped because she really does not need to be duped whatsoever. So, if you happen to pull her today or in the future, just know you really do not need her awakened. We're actually going to start going over her awakened abilities today, okay? So look at this right here. Brother Grizzly extends his wisdom. Essentially what it does is, if you're fighting a bleed immune champion, whenever the defender is immune to bleed, you're going to get a precision passive. Now that's great, alright? That's a good thing. It opens up her damage to unideal matchups. At the end of the day, all of her damage comes from bleed, so in bleed immune matchups, you can crit a little bit more. However, don't use her there, okay? Another thing, this is more of a defensive ability. Sister Eagle provides new assistance, instantly healing up to 90% of all damage dealt to Chee'Ilth by physical damage effects. Now that's nice for a few things. That's, you know, kind of like a Hercules trap on defense. It's good against like Red Hulk's type of physical burst damage, that kind of stuff. So the little bit of regen there is definitely nice to have. Makes her a bit tankier on defense in general, okay? So let's jump into her today. So her main like bread and butter here, okay? Oppose the one below all. While fighting Gamma opponents, so like Hulks, Absorbing Man, Sasquatch, Rhino, Immortal Abomination, alright? Her personal debuffs gain 40% potency, and her synergy bonuses gain special Gamma enhancements. Why don't we take a look at that, alright? So, first things first, this is a nice little synergy right here just to have on the team. Regen buffs and passives gain 5% increased potency. That is for all champions except Chee'Ilth, okay? So, Wolverine, stuff like that, right? Champions like that. A little bit of regen is nice. That, you know, I feel like Omega Red might be nice with that off that special 3. I'm a big Omega Red kind of guy, you know? All right, over here, if you don't talk, you won't know him. So Chee'Ilth, Sister Eagle grants 3 additional cleanse passives at the start of each fight, and if it's Gamma, you gain 8 cleanse passives instead. That is actually really nice, specifically for Immortal Abomination, okay? What you don't know, you'll fear. Chee'Ilth, when blocking a heavy attack, become passively unstoppable. Cool. You know, she's very, like, counter-heavy with your heavy kind of thing, so that's nice to have. That's definitely nice to have. And the cooldown becomes, you know, 5 seconds with Gamma, okay? So, not too bad. Oh, one more. When struck while performing a heavy attack, become passively unstoppable. That one is better, in my opinion, right? Because you're going to be using the heavy attacks. But yeah, pretty nice stuff. Let's jump into her kit, all right? So, as an attacker, her personal debuffs last longer than they do on defense, and on defense, they can go through block. So if you block a medium attack, you get into bleed. So if you want to fight her with Omega Red, have a lot of fun. Bleeds everywhere, okay? Same thing for like Magneto and other champions who are resistant to bleed, okay? Spirit charges, max 10 every 20 seconds, and at the start of the fight, Sister Eagle and Brother Grizzly bestow an indefinite spirit charge on Chee'Ilth, okay? As a defender, this timer becomes 10 seconds, but basically, when this expires, you gain 2 indefinite cleanse charges. You also gain them at the start of the fight. Cleanse is very powerful for a lot of things, of course, right? Great for hazard shift type nodes, great for Jessica Jones, great for I-Bomb, right? All that fun stuff. Great for power, sting, stuff like that, all right? You also get additional critical damage rating and bleed potency for each spirit charge, so as you ramp her up in the fight, she gets stronger and stronger and stronger, okay? Sister Eagle the healer. When you block an attack, this is actually really cool. Their attack rating is capped at 100% of what it was at the start of the fight. So for example, if you're fighting like Baron Zemo, right? And he gains Furies, you can block and you won't get like the big Fury damage, okay? Well-timed blocks reduce this attack rating cap to 50%. So there could be 15 Furies on Zemo. You do a well-timed block and it's gonna be like he has 0 and you're gonna cut the damage 50%. It's really not bad, all right? Now, each well-timed block you do, even against stun immune opponents, is going to cut that spirit charge timer down by 5 seconds. So it lasts 20 seconds, right? It's going to cut it down by 5. So if you do 4 parries, that's 1 spirit charge, okay? Now, not only that, where it says it right here. Brother Grizzly shortens the spirit charge timer by 7 seconds each time Chee'Ilth punishes a heavy attack or a special attack. So you want to play into that when you're fighting her, because you want when you're fighting with her, because you want as many spirit charges as you can get for more bleed potency and more critical damage rating. Okay, so she ramps up a little bit. Now, her bleed debuffs deal a decent amount of damage, right? They're direct damage, so it gets around resistance and stuff like that. And when you strike with your medium attacks and the last hit of your heavy attacks and some of your special attacks, you're going to be putting a bleed debuff when you attack with the adds axe. All right, so let's talk about her heavy attack. One more thing, the final hit triggers 3 bleed debuffs instead of just 1. Now the special one, coolest animation in the entire game, coolest special attack animation in my opinion, dude. It is absolutely incredible. A giant bear comes out of nowhere and just rips you to shreds. So on activation, you gain a Grizzly's grit passive for 16 seconds. It counts as a grit passive. While this is active, all attacks gain a 50% chance to inflict a bleed debuff. So not just on your mediums and heavy anymore, all attacks. All right, so obviously in most fights you want to be spamming a special 1 so you can get as many bleeds on the opponent as possible. All right, special 2, the final hit inflicts a non-stacking Eagle's Tranquilize debuff for 12 seconds. So this is a 50% Tranquilize debuff, which is definitely pretty decent, all right? It's kind of like 1 Kate Bishop Tranquilize or like Mantis at 6,200 against a non-science champion. So it isn't the best, but it's okay. It's good for like, you know, I-bomb and debuffs that have like a 50% or lower chance to apply, all right? While this Tranquilize is active, she cannot miss. So special 2 cannot miss, all right? Each time a debuff or miss is prevented, Eagle's Tranquilize is paused for 3 seconds, okay? Now, the grit passive. Let's talk about that for a moment. This is a new thing. It's very similar to like Valkyrie's Sig ability here. What it does, essentially, this is a rank 1 6-star Chee'Ilth versus a rank 2 Hulk, okay? What it essentially does here is you'll notice we have the grit passive. Okay, now what happens right there? Unstoppable. You completely ignore unstoppable, which is just fantastic, right? Also, really funny, this was so weird. Watch the way Hulk just drops dead here. It was one of the weirdest things I've ever seen. Watch. He just falls. He just face plants, man. Absolutely hysterical. Okay, so that is what the grit passive does. It's actually quite nice. You know, if you're in a bind, you have to use her for Thing in Battlegrounds, right? She'll actually be really solid for Hulk in Battlegrounds, who is sometimes really annoying on defense. She's got the Cleanse and the Tranquilize to deal with the physical vulnerability, so you don't have to worry about Iniquity too much. You also have the Grit to get around that Unstoppable. So overall, you know, Hulk is on defense like more often than he used to be nowadays, right? Especially as a 7-star. So that's one fight I could see her doing well for in Battlegrounds, but I feel like in general, not the best Battlegrounds champ because she does take a little bit of time to ramp up against non-Gamma champions. All right, Special 3. This fight can only be used once per fight. You gain an indefinite 35% Vicious passive, which is going to increase the potency of your bleeds, and you gain a 15-second regen buff, healing 50% of the health lost in that fight or 30% of your missing health total, whichever is greater. Not bad. So she kind of reminds me of Diablo in a little bit. Instead of stacking on poisons, you're stacking on bleeds. You use the Special 3 once per fight, right? And you gain all these effects, and you gain the Vicious passive. Could she be decent in Necropolis? Maybe. Wouldn't be my first choice. But like a 6-star rank 2 Chee'Ilth would probably do well against like the science champions and stuff, I think at least. But yeah, there's not much unstoppable in there in Necropolis. There's a bit of it. There is an entire path where you just miss a lot. She could be good for that. I don't know. It still wouldn't be my first choice. I'd love to see someone prove me wrong. That'd be great. So somebody jump into Necropolis with Chee'Ilth and do some cool stuff. She'd be like fine, I think. I think she would actually be fine because after you ramp up to Special 3 and everything, the bleeds are going to do okay. So maybe I'll give that a shot. Okay, let's start jumping into some gameplay today, alright? So, let's say you're up against a Science Champion in Battlegrounds with your 7-star rank 2 unduped Chee'Ilth, alright? This is Sentry. As you see right here, I'm using my parry to lower the Spirit Charge timer, okay? I'm also going to bait heavy attacks, counter with my heavy, pause the bleeds, inflict 3. okay? And I'm also going to shorten the timer for countering the heavy. So the bleeds are actually kind of decent. This is with 0 deep wounds. This is without suicides on, okay? You want to play your kind of like Karnak and Crossbones in a way where you counter those special attacks with your heavy. You counter the heavy attack with your heavy. Go right into the special 1. As you can see, I said she's not going to be the best Battlegrounds champ, but I don't know, maybe I'm talking directly out of my ass, because this Sentry is down in about 40 seconds. And yes, it is Sentry, but at the end of the day, it's a science champion. So against another science champion like Spot, for example, or Jessica Jones, or another relevant Battleground science defender, could be decent, you know? And plus the cleanse could make her kind of annoying and tanky on defense, right? So could be decent, who knows? Give it a shot. This is a longer Sentry, about 700,000 health, so we're going to be going for the special 3 here. Okay, on top of that, we're going to be countering heavy as much as we can. Why? Because it's a longer fight. We want as many spirit charges as we could possibly get. Okay, so as you can see, we're stacking on the bleeds with the heavy attack. We're countering specials. We're countering heavies. We're building up to the special 3. Okay, that is the total goal here. We're blocking to bait the heavy. We're blocking and blocking and blocking to bait the heavy. That is what we are doing. All right, we're baiting up the special attack here. If he throws it, come on, Sentry. There we go. Again, we're baiting out the heavy attack, the heavies, and the specials. There we go. We're going to counter with the heavy attack again. Every time you do that, the reason why I'm countering with the heavy is because I can pause the bleeds during that attack. So there goes the heavy attack again. This Sentry is already down to 60% health. Now, we're going to get a regen buff, healing some of the damage that we took, some of the chip damage we took from blocking. And we're also going to gain a vicious passive to increase the potency of future bleed effects by 35%. Okay, so now you're going to see the bleeds are going to start ticking a lot nicer for a few reasons, because now we have 5 of our spirit chargers and we have a 35% vicious. Okay, so actually those bleeds are doing really well. I'm starting to think that she might actually be decent for like Necropolis Spot. That's like, you know, that fight was a bit annoying. He was missing a lot. You can counter the miss. Those are some red numbers, man. Those are absolutely some red numbers. So who knows? Maybe she could be decent in there. You know, 1 or 2 fights, though, not always the best to bring along a champion just for that. But who knows? Who knows? Maybe she could do some work. We're going to jump in here to this I-Bomb fight with a 6-star. Okay? This is Act 7.2 or something like that. Just to show you, like, where she's meant to be used. Okay? Big I-Bomb boss with Meltdown. Okay, so we're going to be taking advantage of the Tranquilize here. The Tranquilize on the special 2, so we can avoid the poisons and all that fun stuff. Now, he is gamma radiated. That means that our potency of our bleeds is going to be increased by 40%. He has a very easy special 1 to counter. Hey, there's an I-Bomb in Necropolis. Who knows? All right, so this Tranquilize is now going to protect us from the poison on special 2, from a lot of things, and every single time we Tranquilize a debuff, we are going to see ability failed. We're going to pause that Tranquilize, which is really, really nice. Now we're going to go for the special 1 because I believe there is a Hurt Locker on this node, so we have to alternate the specials, all right? So we're going to bait out the special 2. We're not too worried about that, okay? Because the Tranquilize is going to be nice for keeping those poisons off of us, as we can see. Counter the special 1, stack on the bleeds. We're going to take some meltdown damage there, but that's all right. He's got the unblockable special 1. Again, we're countering with the heavy attack, building up the spirit charge, right? And as you can see, those numbers are ticking kind of nice now at this point as you ramp her up. But this is why I don't love her in Battlegrounds, because she does take a little bit to ramp up. But once she's ramped up, as you can see, those bleed damage numbers are kind of nice, okay? But she definitely does like that ramp up. But man, those animations are so nice. The animations are absolutely incredible. I love the special 1. I love the Spirit Bear. I love the Spirit Eagle. Very cool. So that is Chee'Ilth. She's very simple at the end of the day. You want to do the parries to reduce the spirit charge timer. You want to counter heavies and specials to do the spirit charge timer, preferably with a heavy, but not required. All right. The main thing to keep in mind is get that spirit charge timer down, stack on bleeds, use the special 1 if you want to do more bleeds or counter unstoppable, use the special 2 if you have to counter miss, if you have to counter debuffs, use the special 3 in a longer fight so that you can increase increase the potency of your bleeds. And that's all you have to know. Cleanse is great for Hazard Shift and War, Jessica Jones, stuff like that. She's got a lot of cool stuff going on. But yeah, that's Chee'Ilth, man. Pretty much all there is to it. That's it for this video. If you enjoyed it, drop your boy a big ol' like. Let me know what you think about Chee'Ilth in the comment section below. And make sure you hit the subscribe button so you don't miss any future videos just like this coming to you in the future. I'll be seeing you around.